to Frederick, his oldest brother, handsome but stupid, and quite possibly, since Frederick had no children, to his second brother William, farcical and grotesque, the family joke and disgrace. And then, as William was elderly and childless, to the king's little niece, Alexandrina Victoria. King George had had his eye on his young niece for some time. She was the only child of his late brother Edward, Duke of Kent, an odious man, the king thought, debt-ridden, brutish, a boor in society, a bully in the family. Edward was no loss. But his child, now 7 years old and living with her mother in a set of shabby apartments in Kensington Palace, was worthy of her royal uncle's attention. For one thing, she was unique, the only living legitimate grandchild of George III. There had been others, most notably King George IV's daughter Charlotte, but they had all died young. If the king and his siblings continued to be childless, Alexandrina Victoria would one day be queen. For another thing, George's advisers and spies assured him that she was a sturdy, healthy child, with good, strong Hanoverian blood, and that the vicious rumors about her, rumors that spoke of ill health, weak limbs, and diseased feet, were unfounded. Then there was the possibility that the king might outlive both Frederick and William, and that the crown might pass directly to the young princess on George's death. In that event, the king thought, he would like to have the chance to mold his successor himself. He had been thinking of bringing Alexandrina Victoria to live with him, so that he could begin to shape her tastes and design her education. His prime minister, the Duke of Wellington, had advised against it, and this was causing the king to think twice about his plan. But he had decided to invite the princess, along with her mother and half-sister, to visit Windsor so that he could see her for himself. She would attend the fishing party this afternoon, in fact. Entertaining her would be one of the many pleasures he anticipated, to distract him from the gathering pains in his body and the annoying paperwork that had been accumulating on his desk for many months. The nuisance of government he decided he would leave to Wellington. He had enough to worry about, without letting the everyday work of ruling burden him too. As the king drove his phaeton along the path by the lake, passing the Chinese pagoda and the tents erected on the grass for the buffet, a pony cart was approaching from the opposite direction. A small vehicle with rock-hard seats and no springs, its cramped passengers jostling uncomfortably against each other with every bump and dip in the uneven surface of the road. In the cart were the princess, a plump, ringleted, rather plain child who looked to be no more than 5 or 6 years old, her blooming, pink-cheeked half-sister Theodore, who was 18 and bewitchingly pretty, the princess's middle-aged governess, Louise Letson, and the Duchess of Kent, mother of both girls, and by far the most prepossessing figure of the four. The Kent party had been invited to stay at Cumberland Lodge by the king himself, and this mark of his favor was as welcome to the Duchess as it was unexpected. Until very recently, George IV had been no friend to the Duchess or her children. Indeed, he had gone out of his way to demonstrate not only coldness, but outright hostility to the family of his late brother Edward. When the young princess was born, the king, who was not on speaking terms with her father, behaved ungraciously at her christening and refused to allow her to be named Georgiana after him or Charlotte after his daughter. And when 8 months later Edward of Kent was on his deathbed, his royal brother didn't come to see him, but only sent a curt message of anxious solicitude. King George had never shown the slightest concern for the financial well-being of his widowed sister-in-law, even though she had been in a near-desperate state, and only the timely generosity of her brother Leopold had saved her from ruin and her children from want.